The year was 1915, and the Great War had already cast a long shadow over Europe, with millions caught in the throes of conflict. Amidst this turmoil, Winston Churchill, then First Lord of the Admiralty, envisioned a bold strategy that could turn the tide in favor of the Allies. His plan was audacious, a naval attack on the Dardanelles aimed at securing a sea route to Russia and knocking the Ottoman Empire out of the war. The operation, however, would soon become one of the most infamous military blunders in history, leaving a deep scar on both the British military and Churchill's reputation. As the attack commenced in February, the British fleet advanced with confidence. Churchill had rallied support, painting a picture of a swift and decisive victory. The initial bombardment seemed promising, with ships bombarding the coastal defenses. Yet, as the days turned into weeks, the optimism began to fade. The Turkish forces, under the command of Mustafa Kemal, fiercely resisted the assault. Their defenses, underestimated by Churchill and his advisors, proved formidable. Mines laid in the strait sank numerous British vessels, and the once unstoppable fleet found itself caught in a deadly trap. By March, it was clear that the naval campaign was faltering. The decision was made to send troops to support the beleaguered fleet, leading to the Gallipoli campaign's landings in April. Anzac troops, primarily from Australia and New Zealand, were thrust into a nightmarish scenario. The beaches were heavily defended, and the landing turned into a massacre. Soldiers faced relentless gunfire, treacherous terrain, and a fierce enemy. The initial objective of capturing the Gallipoli Peninsula and securing a supply route to Russia quickly devolved into a grueling stalemate. What was supposed to be a quick victory morphed into a bloody quagmire. As the weeks dragged on, the casualty list grew longer. Thousands of young men, many of whom had volunteered with dreams of glory, found themselves trapped in the mud and blood of the trenches. The Anzac forces, in particular, suffered heavy losses. The campaign, which was supposed to enhance British prestige, instead became a source of national mourning for Australia and New Zealand. The heroism displayed by the soldiers was overshadowed by the staggering loss of life and the realization that the campaign was doomed to failure. Back in Britain, the ramifications of the Gallipoli disaster reverberated through the halls of power. Churchill, once a rising star, found himself in the crosshairs of criticism. The press, which had initially lauded his vision, turned against him, branding him as the architect of a catastrophe. The public sentiment shifted from admiration to outrage, as families mourned their lost sons and questioned the competence of their leaders. The political fallout was swift and brutal. In May 1915, Churchill was forced to resign from his position as First Lord of the Admiralty. His career, once filled with promise, now lay in tatters. Yet the consequences of Gallipoli extended beyond Churchill's personal ambitions. The campaign had a profound impact on military strategy and public perception of the war. It exposed the limitations of traditional warfare and the need for a re-evaluation of tactics in modern combat. The Anzac spirit, forged in the fires of Gallipoli, would later become a cornerstone of Australian and New Zealand identity, but it was born from the ashes of loss and sacrifice. Churchill would eventually return to public life, reinventing himself and playing a crucial role in the later stages of the war. However, the shadow of Gallipoli would always loom over him, a constant reminder of the high stakes of leadership and the profound cost of failure. The lessons learned from that ill-fated campaign would echo through history, serving as a cautionary tale about the perils of overreach and the human cost of war. The Dardanelles may have been a military defeat, but it became a pivotal moment in the narrative of a nation and a leader grappling with the consequences of ambition and the weight of responsibility.